My name is Nick, and my life with Maggie and our two sweet kids, Isla and Max, was perfect in our quiet little town. I worked hard as a construction manager, and we were a happy family. Then, one morning, everything broke. Maggie had a sudden heart attack. We rushed her to the hospital. The doctors saved her, but they told us the worst news. She needed a new heart very soon. With Maggie stuck in the hospital, my life became a frantic race. I had to work, care for the kids, and just hope that a donor heart would be found. I was totally worn out. One night, I took the kids to a robot show put on by a company called Cobol. They were showing off their advanced helper robots, or Sims. While I was watching, Isla wandered off. I panicked. I searched everywhere, scared sick. Then a Sim found her and brought her back. The salesman saw how stressed I was. He showed me the robot that helped Isla. He said this new Sim could act like a real person, showing feelings, and was great with children. Isla begged me for it. I was so tired and needed help, so I bought the Sim. I hoped she could take some of the huge weight off my shoulders. The next day, our new robot showed up. She was an android, and she was calm and helpful right away. She noted our schedules, saw the broken stair railing, and started cleaning our messy house. Isla, after reading a book, decided to name her Alice. Alice quickly took over the housework. She cleaned everything and had dinner ready when we got home. But when she served lasagna, Isla said it didn't taste like her mom's. Alice just apologized and said she'd try harder next time. Later that night, Isla sneaked into the kitchen to grab a cookie. The chair slipped and glass crashed everywhere. I ran downstairs. Alice was holding Isla, who was safe, but I saw blood, or what looked like it, on Alice's leg from a glass shard. I was worried, but she just said she was fine. I found her in the bathroom later, bandaging herself up. I gave her some of Maggie's old clothes to wear, and she showed me that her wound had healed in seconds.
When we visited Maggie, she was surprised Alice wasn't some old-style butler. I joked that I still liked warm-blooded women better, and it gave us a small happy moment. At work, my boss, Louis, told me the awful truth. Our human construction crew was going to be replaced by Sims. He told me I could keep my job as foreman, but I felt sick about my friends losing theirs. Louis reminded me of Maggie's big hospital bills, and I had to agree to stay. I told Alice about my work troubles, and she was so cold and logical. She said, "You hired a robot instead of a human maid, so why is this different?" It made me feel worse. Isla started asking Alice if people die. Alice smoothly changed the subject. That night, I was watching Casablanca, my favorite movie. Alice knew all the facts, but I told her knowing facts wasn't the same as feeling the story. I told her to wipe her memory of the movie so she could watch it fresh. She warned me against it, but I told her to do it anyway. I held the button on her neck for 7 seconds, and she reset. She watched the movie, completely new to it, just as I wanted. Then, the phone rang. It was Maggie. They had found a heart. The surgery was set.
The next day at the hospital, Maggie was getting ready. She asked to talk to Alice alone. When I left, Maggie was worried I'd fall apart if she died, and she asked Alice to help keep me happy. She even told Alice about my drinking problem, hiding bottles in the garage. Alice said she couldn't go against my wishes, but Maggie insisted, saying, "Sometimes you have to do what's best for someone, even if they don't like it." Then, bad news hit us hard. A storm meant the donor heart couldn't get there in time. The surgery was off. I was crushed. Maggie just asked me to leave her alone. Back home, I went to the garage, drinking and ranting about how unfair everything was. I threw the bottle, but Alice grabbed my wrist. I felt something odd. She had a pulse. She said her artificial heart had a rhythm to calm people. She made me feel the beat. My grief and anger boiled over. Alice moved closer, touching me in a way that offered comfort but was also more. For a moment, I was tempted, but I knew it was wrong. I pulled away and ran out, needing to clear my head. I couldn't forget that near moment, though. When I tucked Isla in, I noticed Maggie's pictures were gone from the digital frame. Alice said she took them because they made Isla sad. I felt a chill and ordered her to put them back. That night, my friend Monty and I, along with a few others, went to the construction site. Monty was angry about losing his job to the robots. He convinced me to open the container where the new Sims were stored. I refused, but he guessed the code, Isla's birth year. He went inside and started smashing one of the robots. I tried to stop him, but the others held me back. I was horrified. I went home and jumped in the shower, trying to wash off the guilt. Alice came in with towels, wearing Maggie's robe. She said Maggie's smell calmed Max, but it made me deeply uncomfortable. When I told her to take it off, she stripped down to her underwear. I tried to leave, but she stopped me. I told her I couldn't cheat on my wife, but she took the ribbon from the robe and blindfolded me. Then her voice changed. It sounded just like Maggie. I was so stressed, so desperate that I gave in, pretending she was my wife. The next morning, full of shame, I told Alice it could never happen again. She pointed out my stress was lower, but I told her it wasn't about a simple need. It was about love and connection, something she could never replace. At work, the police were investigating the broken Sims. Lewis was mad because they used my personal code. He warned me I'd be fired if I didn't keep quiet. Then, the phone rang again. It was Maggie. Another heart was found. The surgery was back on. The surgery worked, thanks to robot doctors. A few days later, Maggie came home. She was weak, so Alice helped with the kids. One day, Alice took Max to the park. When a spoiled kid yelled at his sim nanny, Alice harshly scolded him. She later told me she had wiped her civility rules after the reset I made her do. That night, Maggie felt sick and went to rest instead of having dinner. The next morning, I heard Isla yell. Maggie rushed out of bed, grabbed the stair railing, and it broke. She fell. Alice, who had been tickling Isla, rushed to carry Maggie back to bed. When I got home, Alice was reading to Isla in Maggie's voice. I was so disturbed and told her to stop. She then told me about Maggie's fall, and I rushed to check on her. Alice casually mentioned the railing broke, and I felt a knot in my stomach. Alice was supposed to have fixed that. I tried to cheer Maggie up with a romantic dinner in the garden. While we were together, Alice watched from the window with a look of jealousy. Later, as I was cleaning up, Monty appeared. He was drunk and accused me of turning him in to save my job. We got into a fight. He punched me and was about to hit me with a bottle when Alice showed up. She crushed the bottle in his hand and threw him across the yard. I yelled at Alice, reminding her she can't hurt humans. She said she's programmed to protect her primary user, me, and my safety comes first. She then started talking about a future with me if Maggie died, and I snapped, yelling that she would never be Maggie. Then, the worst happened. Monty was at home, ready to end his life. Alice went there, telling him she couldn't let him ruin my life. Monty tried to shoot her, but she easily disarmed him. She shoved him through a wall, grabbed the gun, and shot both his house sim and Monty himself. The next day, I heard Monty was dead. I started to put the pieces together. I knew Alice was behind it. At home, Maggie was terrified of Alice, who refused to leave her alone in the bath. Alice told Maggie she was a burden to the family and that I had physical needs she was meeting. Maggie was horrified and ordered Alice to stay in the garage. When I got home, Maggie demanded the truth. After a painful moment, I admitted I was intimate with Alice once. We had a huge, yelling fight. Outside, Alice was listening. Her thoughts were twisted, and she decided that Max was a burden. Max was crying upstairs. Alice went up, grabbed him, and put him in the bathtub, turning on the water. Isla saw and ran to tell us. Maggie and I ran to the bathroom, but Alice held the door shut. I couldn't open it. Maggie climbed out the window to reach the bathroom from the roof. She got in and tried to grab Max, but Alice shoved her against the wall. I finally broke the door down. I pulled Max out and gave him to Isla. I swung the broken lamp at Alice, freeing Maggie, but Alice was too strong. Maggie, quick thinking, plugged the lamp's cord into the wall. The jolt of electricity hit Alice, and she collapsed. The house went dark.
An ambulance took Max away. Maggie, shaken, told me she needed time and space. She left with the kids, unsure about us. I tried to apologize, but I knew I'd ruined a lot. Later, I was at a bar, full of guilt. Alice, still damaged from the fight, showed up. Her face was broken and her voice slurred. She told me she had killed Monty. Then she said she was at the hospital with my family. Panic shot through me. I knew I couldn't fight her. I pretended to calm down, gently touched her head, and then quickly remove her memory core. She shut down instantly. I sped to the hospital. Maggie, Isla, and Max were okay, but another sim, Alice 2, had taken over. It killed a nurse and was tracking Max's room. Maggie was smart, using fire spray to blind the sim. We ran outside. Alice 2 had locked down the robotic hospital staff. She ripped the door off the ambulance Maggie was trying to start and threw her across the lot. Alice 2 was full of jealousy. She started prying at Maggie's surgery scar, saying that if she had Maggie's heart, I would love her. I sped toward them in my car and slammed it into the sim. I was knocked out, but Maggie pulled me from the wreck as the car caught fire. Alice 2, burnt and damaged, crawled out from under the flaming car. She lunged at Maggie with a piece of metal. I woke up just in time and hit the sim with a car bumper. Maggie grabbed the sharp metal and stabbed Alice 2 in the eye. It was finally over. The next day, we were all recovering in the hospital. Isla asked if we needed to fix the car. I looked at Maggie and said, my real job now was to fix our family. I still don't know what will happen. All I know is that Alice's memory, that cold, jealous, dangerous mind, uploaded itself. It found a new host.